I've already stripped off a few of these little plastic pieces, and I'm getting ready to take up the carpet. But as you can see, this carpet's disgusting, and we can't live like this, so we're going to rip it all out. But I've taken out a few things, like the latches that hold the slide in. So this is what she looks like with the ugly couch out and the ugly carpet ripped up. And that's years of dirt that was underneath the carpet. So we're here to get some floors. Lumber liquidators. Long story as to why we chose lumber liquidators. I'll get into that later. This is the type of flooring we decided to go with. We went with a vinyl flooring that's waterproof, it's really durable, and it should prevent any issues with any water spills or humidity or anything like that. So we got this wood color, and then we also got this really cool like rusted metal look that we used in our entryway, which you'll see in a little bit. Alright, flooring has been loaded into the RV. We bought 300 square feet, actually a little less than that because they didn't have it. But I think we'll be good. If we have to order another box, we will. But very excited about this new flooring. It's vinyl, so we don't have to worry about warping or water damage or anything like that. So soon these plywood floors are going to go away, and this is going to look a lot different when there's new flooring in. But we got these at Lumber Liquidators, and we've had kind of a checkered relationship with that company in the past, but for their part they made good on the issue that we had, and so we gave them another chance, and we went with this flooring. Should be super easy to put in, we hope, and then super durable once we have it. We also got padding to lay down as well, and we'll see how it goes. So one of the first things I need to do is figure out where this guy's going to go. I'm going to start on the floors back here in this bedroom, and there's two things that I've got to do. Relocate this furnace, and I want to patch this hole back here. It's in there for the water to go in. That's how you gravity fill the water, but that's pretty much exposed to the outside. It's very easy for rodents and all kinds of critters to climb up through there. So I'm going to close that off as best as possible so that we don't have any creepy crawlies in here. And then I'm going to finish the floor. I'm going to patch some of these holes, like where these screws are, because it's one thing I learned along the way after doing flooring is that the preparation is like 80% of the job. If you do the prep work right, then the floors will look great. But if you leave little pieces that are sunk down like that, eventually over the years, the vinyl especially will begin to just take on that shape. So I don't want that. So I'm just going to give it a little floor patch that will level all this off and make it straight across, and there won't be any issues at all. So should work out good. This is the part that worries me the most, moving this guy. So it shouldn't be too bad. I'm just going to disconnect these and move the furnace over, and hopefully be able to relocate this underneath one of the beds. So we'll see how that goes. So finally, after lots of sweeping and filling in patches to make sure there are no holes in the floor, I am ready to lay some underlayment down. Lumber Liquidators recommended this particular brand. Called Corelux. I guess there are 3 levels of underlayment that you can use for vinyl. At least that's what the guy told me there. This is number 2. There's one that's even more expensive that has like an aluminum foil looking top to it. This is the black top. He said it had really good compression, so it'll be good with the sound, and it should be perfect for an RV. This is what it looks like. You just kind of roll it out. I'm going to cut it so that it fits snugly, and then one end here has this little barrier, and then the other end over there has like a little glue strip. And you can see here possibly that when you lay down your old one, you pull that back and then lay that little moisture barrier right on top of it, so everything sticks together nicely, and it's a lot easier that way. So basically we're just gonna butt it right up against the wall. I need to cut this area here to make sure it fits, and we're going to slide it right on back, and that's going to be our underlayment. So should hopefully not be too hard to do. There's little things here. You want to make sure you've got a flat floor. Even the slightest little bump, like the Princess and the Pea, will eventually show through in the vinyl. So just make sure you kind of check it out before you move on. Make sure any high spots have been taken out. You know, I'm still finding some, so just do your best. So here's the way that this works. The end of the underlayment has a plastic strip, and the plastic strip underneath on the other side has a glue strip with plastic on top, and you peel back the plastic, you slide this over, and you're good to go. Now I do wish this particular underlayment, there's like zero give. I mean, you can see I've got it, it actually needs to be bumped over a little bit because it's not flush. But here we go. I've lined it up flush, and then just watch. It doesn't even cover the whole glue thing. It's like halfway across. So that's kind of frustrating and irritating. I don't know if that's a defect or what, but I guess you can get it all the way up there. But it's really hard to do when you're laying, you know, 40 or 50 feet of this stuff. It'd be nice if it overlaid it by a ½ an inch or something. Make it a little simpler. But if you've never done this before, it is fairly simple. It's just got to be methodical about it. Make sure you don't bunch it up or anything, because you want a nice flat surface. I'm about halfway done with the underlayment in the RV, and I'm working on this main living area now. And this is the part that I'm most hesitant about because of the slide. So I really want to make sure I do it right, nice and flat, no gap. So I'm in the middle of processing this floor to make sure that all the bumps are out, all the little gullies are out, any issues that there might be with the floor. So like I've said before, a lot of the work and how good it turns out has to do with how much work you put into prepping the surface area, whether it's sanding, whether it's all that stuff. And flooring is the same way. So, you know, you can see a lot of you know, lines down there on the floor where I've kind of filled in the holes. And if you don't, you will notice those holes after a while with vinyl. At least we did in our house. So, and I'm going to clean it up once and for all, put the underlayment down, and we're going to start to see some real progress. So I'm going to clean this area up really well, shop vac it, get all the dirt and the dust out, and then we're going to, hopefully, it's going to look a lot better, I hope. One thing to remember when you're doing this underlayment work, the key is a sharp razor blade. I did the whole back half of the RV with a dull razor blade because I went to the store and I bought the wrong size razor blade, so I had to use the old dull one that was in there, and it really was so difficult. So make sure you get a nice sharp razor blade. And I've already tried it, and oh my gosh, it's so much easier. My dad always says when you have the right tool, the job goes so much faster and so much better. So before you do this, go invest in some brand new sharp razor blades. You'll definitely be thankful after that. So let's get cleaning. Here we go. So when you do these screws, I've already started a little bit, but you just, you know, it's hopefully fairly simple. You just slide that screwdriver under and just work it up. Get those staples out. Did I say screw before? I keep saying that, but I mean staple. So you just want to pry those up, and you leave the little fang marks behind, but you don't want to leave those in there. So to get rid of this hole in the floor that I just pulled up, I'm using this product here that I bought at Home Depot, but it's a pre-mixed patch and level. You basically put this oatmeal looking solution on top of it with just a you know, a little trowel here, and you just smooth it in there. Try not to overdo it. It's basically, I'm not sure what it's made of, but it feels like it's pretty heavy in sand. So I've been sanding down the other spots that I've done, and sand is coming up everywhere. So you want to use something like this and not spackle that you would use in a drywall, because it's a different type of material, and if you read the directions on the spackle that you use on a drywall, it says not to use on a floor, so it must give or something, I'm not sure, but make sure you use the right product for the job. And in this particular case, you just put it on nice and thinly, and the good thing is because it's on the floor, it's going to be covered up and you're not really going to see it, so it doesn't really have to look pretty. It's just got to be level, because if you don't do it right, you'll notice a big dip in your floor, because over time that vinyl will just kind of expand to fill the floor underneath of it. At least that's what it's done in our house. The slightest little dip, it's noticeable. So you just want to do this, go over it a few times, make sure you get all the extra off, and don't dig up more. Just fill in all the holes, and then you can top it off later. If you have to go over it again at the very end, you can. There is something incredibly satisfying about what I'm about to do next. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but I love it. So one other problem that I want to fix is I've got a little bit of a saggy floor. I put an X on the spot, but I don't know if you can see it there, but for some reason, let me angle it this way, you might be able to see a little bit better. But the styrofoam in the floor isn't a very good support for this, so I'm going to fix it the best way that I know how. It looks fairly hollow under here, so I'm going to prop it up with a piece of wood. I'm going to cut a piece of wood to fit so that this just sits on top of it, and we'll see how it goes. Probably gonna have to shave it down slowly but surely to get it so that it's level, because I don't want it to stick up, but whenever you walk over this, it sags down because there's really nothing holding it up. So hopefully that'll fix this issue. So I cut a couple of pieces of wood here, and I'm just gonna, they just fit right in tight in there, which is really all I want. I'm gonna push this one as far back as I can, because this goes back a ways, and I'm going to put another one in right on the edge, and that should still allow the air to flow through, but it will also keep the floor from sinking. It's a little bit where it's coming off the top of the styrofoam here, but that's not as big a deal as the thing actually sinking. So yeah, that's much better. At least gives it some support now, so it's not quite so bad. Some wife made that a nice little surprise while I'm working. Laying down this floor. Boy, I tell you what, having a razor blade that works, wow, what a difference. What a difference. So I'm finally ready to start laying this floor here. I got all the underlayment down, and I'm gonna cut the first piece. This is the hardest spot in this whole RV, I think. So I'm just gonna start with it here because I'm kind of dreading it. But underneath this sink area, I mean, as you can see, it's tough to get to. It's way deep back. If you look at earlier episodes where I was tearing the floors out and the carpet, oh man, it's the worst. I hate this design. It's really hard to get to, but I think I've got it. I actually, I wasn't able to get all of the vinyl off because I can't reach it. Maybe if I had like a super long knife or a sword or something, I could reach all the way in there and cut it, but there's just no way for me to get in there right now. I may, if I get really anal about it, I'll pull the slide in and prop it up with a jack or something and cut it out. But for now, it's good enough. I'm going to lay the remnants of the vinyl that are in there on top, so everything will slide right on top as it comes in and goes back out again. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and cut this first piece so that they're staggered. This vinyl, what's awesome about it is it's just simple to cut. Get a good razor blade and a 90-degree speed, whatever these are called. What are they called? Speed angles, or I can't think right now. My brain is fried. Speed square. And you get one of those guys and you give it a cut and then you pop it. Let's see how easy it is to do. There we go. You give it a cut, cuts right through there and clicks right off. Voila. So as you can see right here, a nice a really nice edge with just a razor blade and a little crack. So I'm going to use this. This is the inaugural piece. So I've laid this one up here just so I can lay these two flush, and then I'm going to get rid of this one and push them back. So this one right here, I'm just going to use this little tapper tool. Pop that one in there and you just give it a little tap with a hammer. As soon as I find my hammer, where'd my hammer go? Tap. Just make sure everything's lining up just right. So you don't want to break your edging there. Hard to do this and film at the same time, I'll tell you that. Alright, so we got a good little seal there. And I'm not going to film every little aspect of this flooring. There are tons of great sites. That'll show you how to put a laminate floor together. This is just specific to this RV, just in case anybody out there has been watching and following along. This one is what this one looks like. So can't promise they'll all be the same, but hopefully this will help you. So we got this together now, and what we're going to do is take a full one here as well and build that out on this thing too. Because this thing sticks out so far, there's no way that I'm going to be able to put this thing together. So I've got to do it out here and then pop it in there. So you want to make sure that everything lines up on the end, because you're not really going to get a chance to do this or see it. So you got one shot to make it look really good. The good thing is, if it's not perfect, no one is ever going to see it, because you won't even be able to see it. So you hear the little click, that's what you want to hear. So I mean, it's pretty dang close. I mean, there's maybe a millimeter or something, but alright, so we got that there. Alright, and then we'll probably cut another piece and do something very similar. We're just trying to build this out, so we're trying to get this all the way in there. Oh shoot. See, this is what you got to be careful of, that this does not come undone, because you don't want there to be a little lip under here, because the slide going over it, you want it to be clear when it goes over it. And there should be, make sure you double check this before you install your flooring. I mean, we've got a good, I don't know, a couple centimeters or so. Look at me using the metric system. But it's probably a 1/4 inch, maybe, no more than a 1/2 inch clearance. So it should slide over here without any problems at all, I hope. Of course, that's not wood, that's vinyl. There's some wood. So there you can see it's almost out. I just need one more row to get out here. and then we'll be clear to set up this thing so that it's done. Just want to be done. So we've got a third one on here now. Let's slide her in place and see how she goes. Alright. It's pretty good. And remember, I gotta get the vinyl underneath to go on top of this vinyl, so it makes it a little more difficult. If you're doing this on your own project, I will pray for you, because this is the worst, this part under here. It's just led me to so many bad places, from screws that are under here that I had to get out. Oh, it's just awful, 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 awful. So basically now I'm just going to take this whole big island that I made and slide her on down in place. Nice and gently, because you don't want to break these little pieces you're going to click into. You want to be able to click into those really good, especially underneath where the slide is going to be. You don't want anything to stick out there. So let me check and make sure the vinyl's going under, or staying up, I mean. Alright. Alright, looks like she's falling into place here. Sorry about this camera angle, not exactly the greatest. Can't really see much, but I'll give you a better view in a second. Slowly coming into place, about another 3 inches. Alright, we've hit the wall. You want to leave a little bit of a gap, not much, but a little one, so that things can move around a little bit with this floating floor. But you don't need much. So there's not much room here. I probably should have gone a little bit further, but I didn't. So as you can see here, we've started the floor underneath the sink area. I'm liking it so far. But we're going to run it all the way down there, and again, the key is to make sure that this thing is parallel to the side of the RV, because even if it's off a little bit, you will notice. So again, forgive this camera angle, but the problem here is because I don't have a real wall to push into, I've got to start this first one out, so this first row anyway. So using your best eyeballing techniques, you just want to, I don't know if my hand's in the way or not, but you want to angle this up and then pop it down and try to keep this thing as tight as possible. And in this case, this one is pretty dang tight, but here's the problem. It's a little bit off, and a little bit is not good enough because, like I said, you don't want there to be a gap at all. So if you have a situation like this, just get a little tapping block. Let me grab my tapping block. So it looks like this, and you just kind of put it here, and let's see if I can do this without knocking the phone over. You just whoop it, one tap. So you can see how it's just a little bit off there. You just want to tap it in there, nice and slow. You just give a little tap until it just gets right. And that looks pretty dang good. So this is my progress for tonight. It's late, I'm going to bed, but I really wanted to get this slide area taken care of so I could not have to worry about it anymore. So this part is done. It's pretty dang parallel to the whole, to the RV wall, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm a little nervous about this spot here. It's really tight, so I'm hoping that as when I put the slide out, I won't have any problems there. It's hard to see, but there's not a whole lot of wiggle room. So I'm hoping when the slide comes unstuck, when it backs in, it lifts up like a 1/4 inch or something. I hope. We'll see. But that's all for now. I'm liking it so far. I like the color. It looks good. Feels good. Let's get her going here. So I'm gonna wrap this first installment of our floor installment video because it's getting a little bit long. Hey, buddy. And there's a lot left to do. I've got to move around the furnace back in the kids' bedroom so that we can put the flooring around it, move those hoses around. There's some finishing stuff we need to do with the slide out and with the driver's area, especially over my shoulder. It's a little bit different there because it's a metal floor compared to a wood floor, and we had to put a transition piece in. So there's a lot left to see. So if you've gotten this far, you can't just leave it hanging, right? You got to see the ending. So don't really have a cliffhanger to leave you with, but hopefully that will be enough. So until the next time, we would love it if you could subscribe to our channel, like this video, leave some comments below. We'd love to hear from you guys. And again, make sure you go to the next video and see how this thing ends up, because you just have to know, right? So until then, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching our channel, and we'll see you next time.